Alright guys, I'm outside in the garden type area. So we're going to address something today that has come up, nerd move, something that has come up a few different times and that we need to, I've been asked, it's been done, videos have been done on it a little bit, and it's been in some of the Facebook groups I'm in, it's come up, and yeah, I've been asked. So we're going to talk about, everybody, this is going to be controversial, since everybody just calm the fuck down for a second. Batoning wood with a folding knife, okay? And I want to say right now, this is not a video about should you do it. It's about could you do it.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
By the rules set forth by the pantheon of knife gods. Batoning wood is not a thing you should do with any knife, okay? General statement, we know that. But batoning wood with a knife is a thing we're gonna do. It's gonna be done, and preferably with a large, rugged, heavy gauge fixed blade knife. But we're not always in that situation. So there are some things, there's a way, there's a procedure if you are going to baton with a folding knife. I'm not recommending it. I'm not saying you should. I'm saying if you had to, could you? Yeah. So I went into the woods, and I just cut a nice little piece. This is fresh, okay, with a silky saw. I'm actually going to use. Do you guys remember this? I said when we saw this gator, is there an ice cream truck? Ice cream. When we saw this, the gator by Vosteed, I said it's going to be kind of perfect for, sorry, I'm whipping the camera, for what we're going to, an outdoor thing I was talking about, right? And it is a heavy duty, this is a heavy duty folded knife. So if anything is a good example of, you could, I'm not saying you should, this is something that we might use, and it's doing pretty good for just hacking those little twigs off the end for us. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna show you one of the recommended methods of if you're gonna do it. Here's how maybe you could. Obviously, if we're gonna be doing this, the choice of knife is important. This is a mini griptilian. This is not the ideal choice. I mean, if it's all you got, it's all you got. But the heavy dutier the knife, the better. Right now, I'm not even concerned about what type of lock system we have. Forget that. Now, I say forget that, but like, look, if you've got like a triad lock or something heavy, beefy like that, it's probably better to use than not. But in all reality, it's not going to matter because of what I'm about to say. What I'm worried about now when we're doing this is getting the toughest, most wedge-like blade you can for this purpose. And let's face it, the little mini grip is just not going to do it for us for a number of reasons. Number one, it's a very thin blade. Number two, it's a very small blade. Remember, when this goes in the wood, you still need blade length to beat on with the baton, and you want it to be tough enough that it can take the beating. So, that's why I said, looking at this in the review, that the Vosteed is probably a good choice for this. And the blade shape itself, by the way, this is a nice natural place to put that focus, to make the fulcrum point of, fulcrum might be it's a lever. Anyway, I think it works, but to give us a nice natural beating point in there. There are other knives you could use, obviously, but I'm just using the Vosteed as a great example of a folding knife that came recently. I'm using this piece of wood just as a solid base, so we have something to hit on that's not just the ground. So the key thing is, the whole thing that you want to do if you're going to use your folding knife is you want to make get your spot, right? And this is going to be our spot, and I'm just going to anchor that in with the first little love tap, right? Now I'm going to break the lock. And that is probably the most important part to remember if you're going to do batoning with a folding knife. Because what we're really worried about is midway through that lock failing, and all of a sudden you're holding strength on there, and then your fingers go flying either into exposed blade or into the wood itself, whatever. It's a safety issue. So, could versus should. Remember, we're saying shouldn't if you have any other option, but breaking the lock once you get the blade situated is probably the most important safety aspect we're looking at here. You can still hold on to it to stabilize, but that's no longer your single point of safety there and your single hold on it. Once you break the lock, and like I said, I don't care what kind of lock it is. Once you do that, you basically still have some control over this, but it's no longer like your point of failure there. Oops. This is my point of failure here now, but you see we can go back and forth. And it's actually the knife relocked itself, but especially with a larger blade, heavier blade like this, and being gentle, because this is not a full-on fixed blade with all of its heft and might that we would use. I'm gonna swap this around for a flatter surface. Maybe should have done that in the first place, but so I still have some control over the blade without it being fully locked. I'm still able to sort of focus it. It's doable. It's not advisable, but there's a safer way to do it than just grabbing your folding knife and using it as if it is a fixed blade. So here's my sexy knee, and you can see why you want to. Obviously, I mean, it's common sense, but common sense is not as common as you may think. So it's a quick video. It doesn't need to be any longer than that. There's a safer way to do your batoning with a folding knife. It's still not entirely recommended. Hey, to this knife's credit, after all that beating, blade is still perfectly centered. Action is still really good. Lockup is still really nice. No blade play, awesome. Of course, right at the end of the video, the AC unit kicks onto the house. So that's just one of the methods that I learned for, using your folding knife for batoning wood. Again, should versus could. That's what it is. This is a could you, not a should you. But it works. So if you guys have any comments, if you know a better technique that you want to share with us, please do. Absolutely. I'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts on doing the broken lock batoning. Listen, there's probably some better ways out there that I just don't know, and I'd love to hear from you guys. But anyway, thanks for joining me on this one, guys. It has been, like I said, it's been requested, it's been talked about, so I figured I'd do a quick one up on it. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.